Anyway, thank you. Hi. What a lovely day here in the neighborhood at Lady Guadalupe. At 11 o'clock, we started our program, and we want to thank our sponsors. U.S. Bank. Thank you, U.S. Bank. They've been a sponsor of this event for many, many years. Comcast, Internet Essentials. And, just a second about Internet Essentials. You know that Comcast has a new program that's really especially for low-income families, people that don't have access to the internet. They realize how important it is. So this is a new internet program, $9.95, Internet Essentials. It's really something that Comcast should be proud of. And for a lot of the organizations that are here, if you're working with families and they're not connected to the internet, which many aren't, this is a great opportunity. So we have some information about Internet Essentials. And then Isaac Contreras, our brother from the West Side, Isaac. Hey, how about Isaac? Let's give Isaac a hand. Yeah. Wow, right? Come here, Isaac. Come here over here, man. Yeah. Okay. Well, check this out. Isaac's with Keller Williams selling homes now, and he's making it happen. And getting a home now is not easy. I mean, if you want to get a place, there's about 10 people bidding on a home. Give us a little bit about that, man, about getting a home.
Yeah, very competitive, but I tell you what, it can be done. There's a lot of folks, it's the right time if it's the right house. But I am giving away a TV, so don't forget to stop by and put your name in the hat. We're giving a giveaway a TV, no obligation, but this is where I grew up. This is where I want to serve, and I appreciate it.
Okay. Hey, Ike. Let me get in there, man. I'll throw a couple of cars in there. But thank you, Ike. And then, our friends from the National Latino Peace Officers Association. How about our police officers, man? Right? Come on. Yeah, we love them. And then, and they're doing the fingerprints thing for the kids, not the adults, man. You guys got your own thing. But for the kids, right? Yeah. Okay, so we appreciate it. And then we have the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office, man. They're all here. Right? Yeah, we love them here. And then, of course, we have the Minnesota Housing. Henry. Well, Henry, thank you. And hey, Henry, come here a second, real quick, man. It'll just take you a second. Because housing is a big issue in Minnesota, as you know. And how do you help the people in the community? Give us a little.
Hi, I'm Henry, Minnesota Housing, and what we do is we help people with down payment and closing cost assistance and loans. So you'll be able to enter a home with only $1,000 down, or 1% of the purchase price. That can help you. When your family's getting into homes, not only is it more stable, you're healthier, you have better education, but look at Minnesota Housing as an option. And my partners here today are EJ Garza from Keller Williams, and Andrea from Sunrise Bank. They're big supporters of the community. So please come by and visit with us. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Henry. God bless you. We'll be able to see you. And then, of course, we have our Minnesota Council on Latino Affairs. You know the guys. It's been around. Jose Trejo started the gig. Remember Jose Trejo? I don't think he's a member of the Trejo family, but he said he was, man, just to try to get inside. But we have proof that he wasn't. But he did a good thing by starting this organization. Here, look at these young, outstanding professionals. They're really on the ball here. So they're doing some good things. They represent us up at the state capitol. So their job is to inform the governor and the legislature about our issues and how they can work together with us. So we love Eric. And what is your name again? Adriana. Wow, huh? Love it. Okay, thank you. And then, well, here's the question. Where are we going to be without Carmen Robles? Come on, let's get serious, man. Right? You know Carmen, and Carmen's with the sheriff's office. Yeah, they got her car at the pond, so she wants to. Yeah, they'll get your car back. Don't you worry about it. We'll get it. But thanks, Carmen. You're doing some wonderful things. And at noon, we're gonna have our La Familia Heritage Award program. That's one of the things that we started 16 years. This event is 16 years old. We started our first event was really at the River Center. And we went and rented 62,000 square feet for the event. Yeah, I went in there and I said, what the hell are we doing here? It was 62,000 square feet. But you know, our sponsors, our wonderful sponsors really made it happen. And we filled it up. It was a great 8-year run until the recession hit. And we know what happened. A lot of groups, a lot of events went under, as we know. I mean, Junior, in the entertainment business, things were bleak. Things weren't happening. But we said, let's keep this event alive. I love this event, La Familia. It's about educating and motivating the people that in our community, Latino community. And that's real. We need to educate and motivate our family. And of course, we don't have the liquor, we don't have the loud bandas and 16 pieces. And yeah, because why? Well, we're here to talk to our people, right? We want to talk to our vendors, and we'll get you on that. Throw my card in on the TV, brother. Yeah, we'll put that in my office. All right, thank you. But so this is what this event's about, and we love being here at the Guadalupe. At noon again, we're going to have the program, and then right after that, we're going to have Los Aguilar Bailadoras. They're coming in. They got a tough agent, man. We had to almost get a home loan to pay them, but they're going to be. They're back there. They had a case of wine, I guess, Malbec from Argentina. They wanted that stuff. It's Turkey. It's strictly doing business, man. But they'll be here, and then. And then the icon musician for the West Side, Kiko Rangel and his trio. Yeah, he's gonna be here. And Kiko has an agent now too, so everybody's waking up to the agent and stuff. But he's gonna be here. We wanted Uber, he said. You can't drive anymore. So anyway, enough of these corny jokes, but enjoy yourselves. And we'll start the awards program at noon. Okay, thank you. God bless. But we put together this special piece here because, there are people that don't know what countries make up the Hispanic community, unfortunately. And there are some countries that we never think about as being part of the Hispanic Heritage Month. So we put together this special piece for you. We want you to enjoy it, and why don't you listen to it? Thank you.
Niña de mi cuento, ven y di que te vas, aunque ya no estés aquí, aunque sea de lejos. Niña, niña del misterio, sal de mí, borra el tiempo que está quieto en la pared como una sombra más. Imagínate que me voy muriendo, imagínate que ya no estoy y te quiero. Imagínate que me voy muriendo, imagínate que ya no estoy y te quiero. Niña, niña de mis sueños, yo te vi sobre el mar, blanca y desnuda, sobre mí tú vas, sobre ti yo vuelvo. Niña, 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 niña de mi sexo, sé que vas a jugar con mis dos manos, sé que no dirás eso que yo quiero. Imagínate que me voy muriendo, imagínate que ya no estoy y te quiero. Imagínate que me voy muriendo, imagínate que ya no estoy y te quiero.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, that was a beautiful piece. Put together by Rico Vallejos, who's our graphic guy. You know, the Hispanic community now, I think it's really challenging times. You know, we're here being the largest minority in the country and being recognized as the community, the group that's going to show the most growth in America. I guess you can be proud of that, but you know, there's a lot of challenges when that happens for your community. You have to stand up and you have to deliver when you become the largest community in this country. And there's a lot of things that have to be done. You just can't say, well, we have the most people, because America has always grown when their people deliver, when we make the countries bigger and better. And so we look forward to those challenges because that's who Latinos are. You know, we want to work hard, we love our country, and we want to make the most of it. But again, you know, these are things that we have to do juntos. We have to be together on that. And I think a couple of the things that we're concerned about right now is the achievement gap here in the state of Minnesota, where, you know, 50% of our Latino kids aren't graduating from high school. Now, it doesn't take you much to know that that's a crisis. It is something we want everyone to be aware of as we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, because again, you know, we are the largest group in the country, Latinos, but we have to stand by each other and deliver. We have to be educated. We have to make the country grow, and that's who we are. So the reason we started the Latino Heritage Awards, we thought, you know, so many people sacrifice and volunteer for the communities, and most of the time, you know, they're not given any credit. They do what they do, and they show up and they volunteer and they help the community out. In this case, a lot of things that happen here at the church and in our nonprofit organizations. But so we're going to start the award program here, and we want to start out with a group that was established in 1978. It was established as the Spanish Speaking Affairs Council, and later renamed the Chicano Latinos Affairs Council. So we had some name changes: Spanish speaking, and then Chicano Latino, and that was in July of 2015. The council was restructured and became the Minnesota Council on Latino Affairs, and they're here today, I was mentioning. Their mission is to advise and inform the governor and legislators on matters of importance to Latinos in Minnesota. They do this by tracking state legislation and analyzing the impact that policy, procedures, laws, or regulations have on Latinos in Minnesota. And they also conduct research and relays data within various policy areas impacting Minnesota Latinos. And for that to happen, we have to work with this organization. A lot of the times they want to get the data, they want to understand the people. It's often not often difficult, but it is challenging to be able to get that information. So the more that we can cooperate with this great group, the better. But we have a little piece here that we're showing right now about their organization. And at this time right now, we want to offer the first of the Latino Heritage Awards to the Minnesota Council on Latino Affairs. And to accept the award, we have Henry Jimenez here. And Henry's new to the council. And it's a challenging position. There's no doubt about it. Anytime you do represent your community up at the state capitol, it's challenging. People have a lot of different ideas what this organization should be doing. But what they've always done is they've made the community the important ingredient, the reason they work. So here to accept the Latino 2018 Latino Heritage Award, Henry Jimenez. Henry, come on up here. And here's the award, Henry. In recognition of your commitment to Latino heritage, culture, and community, and for your efforts to advise the government on important matters of interest to Latinos who live in Minnesota. Also for being the bridge of communication and collaboration between Latinos and the private sector, nonprofits, and the government. Therefore, with the appreciation of the Latino community in Minnesota, this commendation is presented to the Minnesota Council on Latino Affairs. Henry, congratulations. Is Ben Cosell here? Ben, can you come up with the camera? And, yeah, I'm going to give you mine. You can be our. Yeah, we just drafted Ben. I've got a phone. It's one of those phones that was made in China, I guess, but I think it works, man. Sure. Yeah, hit that button. We're going to get yeah, thank you.
On the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
Henry Jimenez, ladies and gentlemen.
Muy buenas tardes a todos. Good afternoon, everyone. I really thank everyone for being here and all the sponsors for sponsoring this important event. It's not just sponsoring an event, it's sponsoring an event that's important for our Latino community, especially during this time. We're currently in the month of Hispanic Heritage Month, and we need to continue to have events like this. I'm excited to see that it's the 16th annual, but we should be celebrating the 200th annual at this point, right? And I hope it can continue on, and every year we can come back so that we can recognize folks that are doing a lot of good work in our community. Again, my name is Henry Jimenez. I'm the Executive Director of the Minnesota Council on Latino Affairs. Some of you might remember the council as CLAC, and now it's called the Minnesota Council on Latino Affairs, and I'm hoping that that is the last name change for a very long time, so that we can keep that tradition going. But first of all, our council advises and informs the governor's office and state legislature on matters of importance to the Latino community in the legislative and policy-making process, just as Rich Aguilar just said, and it's not easy. We definitely can't just do it with 4 people working in an office and having fellows and volunteers supporting us. I think the only way to do it is that we all get involved. Folks like yourself, supporting us and advising us in the advice that we do provide the legislature and the governor. Again, the Latino community is culturally, geographically, and politically diverse. Our community has entrepreneurs, teachers, truck drivers, lawyers, doctors. We have families that have called Minnesota home for generations and families that arrived just yesterday. But for MCLA, all of this doesn't matter, your job, your age, or how or when you came here. We believe we are all Minnesotanos. This shared identity as Minnesotanos acts as a fiber to bind our culture, geographic, and political diversity. And it is from this fiber that our agency finds inspiration to advocate for the Latino community at the state capitol. As some of you could imagine, advocating for these varied interests can be simultaneously humbling, and it is. It's one of the best jobs I've ever had. But I can tell you that my team will tell you it's also the hardest job we've ever had. But our team likes challenges. We have a team that works tirelessly with both political parties. Mr. Aguilar here has been just supportive to us and actually working with both sides. And we appreciate that. Yet we are proud that any one of you can look up our agency's legislative agenda and find that our bills are authored and co-authored by both Republican and Democrats. It is the commitment to be bipartisan that puts our agency in a position to earn the rare legislative wins with respect to reducing the education achievement gap, providing economic security for workers and lifting barriers for small business owners. But let us be clear, these wins are not MCLA alone. These are community victories because we could not have accomplished any of this work without the support of our community. And everything we do at MCLA is for you. It is for our community. It is for Minnesota. Again, thank you to all of our sponsors, and for this award, we are proud and humbled to continue to have the opportunity to represent the Latino heritage, culture, and community at the state capitol. And one final thing, after 3 years at being at the council, I think Mr. Aguilar has been one of the first and has continued to support and advise our council and myself. And I don't know if this is a coincidence, but I hope it's not the last award our council gets. And I can assure you that this award is not just for our council, but it is for folks like Mr. Aguilar and many of you who've supported our agency's work. And we are humble, and it is a very good day for me. I get to hold our first award as MCLA. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Henry. And I look forward to working with your group. You've established some good priorities, my friend. Our next award, as we move along, of course, is a familiar face. Junior Trejo, ladies and gentlemen, is our next recipient. Not yet, Junior. I've got a little left here. But I found this piece on Junior's website. He said his music career began in his mom's kitchen. At the age of 2, he was drumming on her pots and pans. By 3, was performing in his parents' restaurant on the West Side. But after that, listen, this is a gentleman here that has really laid a foundation for a lot of Latino musicians to follow, and that is never being all about yourself. Junior just mentioned that to me. It's about the people he's worked with that have really made a lot of difference in how his career could have went. And also the fact that he was always true to the community. He always hung in there with the West Side, and he represented the West Side. And I think, Junior, it's always a wonderful feeling for a lot of West Side people and your fans, go into a nightclub and know you. They love it, that they go, yeah, that's my guy, that's Junior's band. And I think that's a lot of the tradition down the years with Augie Garcia, who, Augie had his following here from the community. And in some ways, the J-Mars, Rudy Garcia, our late Rudy Garcia, how about a hand for Rudy? You know, Rudy Garcia, the restaurateur. Yeah, yeah. He had a group that represented the West Side and who we were as a community. But then Junior went on to perform in his early career with Saxon Soul, with Danny's Reasons, The Mystics, Free and Easy, and Gypsy, all very well-known groups before forming West Side Band in 1981. He's an inductee to the Mid-American Music Hall of Fame 5 times, along with the West Side Band. They were the 2010 inductees to the Mid-America Music Hall of Fame, and most of all, Junior says that he's thankful for his health and the love and support of his mother and father. But again, we want to thank what Junior represents, and that the fact that the Latino community produces professional talent that can rise to any occasion, and it was very informative to other young Latino musicians to follow what this gentleman has done. So I have his award here, and I'm going to have Junior come up right now. Junior. I'm getting it, man. Fatty Garza handled it, and somebody took it. Oh wait, that's John Flores, man. Hold on. This isn't embarrassing. We keep moving, man. We keep moving. Yeah, it's the last one. Is it here? Oh. We got it. Oh, John, that's John. Here it is. This is the last one. He was right. Hey, listen, this in recognition of your commitment to your Latino heritage, culture, and community, and your outstanding career in the entertainment industry. Also to the many civic and social organizations you supported by providing your talent. For your love of family, friends, and your country, with the appreciation of the Latino community in Minnesota, this commendation is presented to Junior Trejo from the Latino Heritage Selection Committee. Junior, congratulations.
Wow. Hey, Rick, thank you. Well, you know, I thought about this moment when he called me and said that this was going to happen. And you know, sometimes people in life go through and you hear about people that brag about things, and I didn't want to come up here and brag. However, I've done so many things that I guess my history will speak for itself, so I'm not going to say too much, but I told Rick earlier that even with my father is that I've done so many things, but I want people to know that I didn't do them by myself. I had good family, my mother and father, my brother, my cousin Ronnie, and of course my mother and father and my wife. And because a lot of times, you know, people just don't get the credit that they're due. And with growing up in the West Side, in fact, I went to school here back in, should I tell them the year?
Yeah, you got to.
It was 2010. No, I actually, I was in the third grade. I think it was about 61, 62, somewhere in there. And when I actually went through all the bands that he mentioned and finally started my band West Side, we started right here in the neighborhood and we practiced at my mother and father's restaurant, La Casa del Pueblo, right over on Concord. In fact, 194 Concord, I still remember the address. The West Side Band was really put together of all different nationalities, and that's what it was supposed to be, because I remember growing up in the West Side in the flats and then coming up here. I went to Catholic school here and I went to Archbishop Brady. And it's so funny because I didn't know that people were prejudiced, because down here there was Jews, Mexican, black, white, whatever, Asian. And it's just so weird. So when I decided to put West Side together, I said, I'm going to put a multicultural band together that can actually play in all kinds of different different places and stuff, where people can accept what we were and who we were. Didn't matter the kind of music, as long as people accepted who we were as people. And so and that was kind of thing, and we went on to do all kinds of things. But I just want to say, Rick, thanks, and my mother's here, and my brother, and my wife, and my friend Poopy's here, and Danny, Diane, my cousin Ronnie, and cousin Debbie, my cousin Gina, cousin Gloria. So with that, I'm out of here. Thank you.
Thanks, Junior. God bless you. Yeah. Well, let me do something there after that incident. Let me get a little organized here, because we had a little shift, and that's important. Has anybody signed up for your drawings yet, Isaac? Oh, we do? Okay. Make sure not too many, man. We want to win that thing. But... Oh yeah. Okay. I think we're. Well, could you hit the next one? And here he is, right here, ladies and gentlemen. Our next awardee is Louis Trejo Sr. And you know, as we know, unfortunately, Louis did pass away on the 19th, a few days ago. But we're so proud that that we had planned to honor him here at this event, and he should be honored. You know, he really was an amazing guy, Louis Trejo. He was always the calm in the storm. He had a wonderful demeanor about him that he never got excited about things because he was focused, and he was a successful business owner, and Casa del Pueblo, such great memories. It was a great place to be. But I think one of his legacies will be his events that he did. You know, back in the 70s and late 60s and 70s, you know, Latinos were very visible downtown St. Paul. We had our community here. We hadn't had any restaurants downtown or any real visibility, but thanks to Louis and his group, his organization, and his great friends that helped promote and produce the Quince de Septiembre. Back in the day, the Cinco de Mayo wasn't really around yet. I don't think it had started yet, but so the big holiday was the Mexican Independence Day. You know, and Louis and his counterparts took that whole event to another level by actually having a parade right down the major route downtown St. Paul with our Fiesta Queen, and then putting on all these wonderful events, and his lovely wife Emma together. They were always together. They were a great couple in helping us promote our culture, and that's what this award is about: heritage, culture, and community. And I think when he even did St. Patrick's Day, for Christ's sake. So, you know, right? We did a little St. Patrick's Day. So Louis was about diversity. Yeah, we do the Irish thing too. But more so spreading the heritage and the culture of the west side of Mexico at the time was really important work. So I'm going to have to ask Junior, and maybe, you know, Emma, if Emma wants to come up, we'd love to have her, Junior. We'd like to have you come up, both of you, if you could. Yeah, can you come up? Oh, okay. Okay. Todd and Emma, Louis, Junior. Yeah. If we could, sure. How about a hand, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, Emma, hi, Emma. Congratulations. I'm going to read this recognition for your family here. In recognition of your commitment to your Latino heritage, culture, and community, and your successful business career as a leader in civic and social affairs, and a mentor to many, to your years of producing and promoting the Mexican culture through celebrations and events that brought much visibility to our community, and also for your love of family, friends, and your country. Therefore, with the appreciation of the Latino community in Minnesota, this commendation is presented to Luis Trejo Sr. on behalf of the Latino Heritage Award Selection Committee. Congratulations, Trejo family.
Hey, I just wanted to thank everybody for coming today and for the Latino Council putting all this stuff together. My dad would have been very happy to be here today, as he was always giddy on all the events that took place that had to do with the West Side. Sometimes we kind of crack up at him just because of the fact of he was always wearing his shadow suits for all the events, even to some of the more of Americanized parade events. So he just loved representing the West Side. With that though, like I said, he would be very proud to accept this award, and his heart in life was the West Side of St. Paul. So I'd like to thank all you guys for that, and appreciate the love and accepting his businesses in the community throughout the years. Thank you.
Wow. Like Rick said, I remember, like I said, I went to grade school here, and I think my father probably did something in the 60s, and I can remember when he first started, before he actually was going, the parades were going downtown St. Paul. I remember getting out of school, and I was going to run home, grab my bike, and put all the crepe paper on it, because I knew that we were going to be going down Concord Street here. And all my friends had all kinds of little bikes, and we'd all dress them up. And like I told Rick earlier, is that my father did a lot of things. He had a vision, but once again, and I actually want to take some time to mention some people, because I don't know that in this time going forward, that some of the people I'm going to recognize will get recognition like I feel they should, but that's me. So I'd like to take the time, so give me about 2 minutes, because I have a ton of people. So have patience. You know what they say, have patience or you become one, you know? So I want to start, a lot of my friends' helpers, my dad's helpers, were some of the Cruz brothers came down and helped him. Victor Laredo, John Obregon, Modesto Rios, let me see, Rick, Joe Trejo, which is not our relation, but the other Joe Trejo. Sal Martinez was down there helping. Carly Montez, Ray Garcia from South St. Paul. Let me see who else. I guess now I'm in front of you guys, and I'm kind of stunned a little bit. I can't remember everybody, but those are some of the people that helped make all those dreams happen, and a lot of the things that my father did. And like my brother said, is we used to crack up when we were younger, because every place that my father went, he always had his shadow suit on with his big hat, and we'd be looking at him like, you know, but you know, my father everything was all Mexican to him. It was from here to there, and Our Guadalupe, of course, was his lady, and yeah, it was a great life that he had. And again, my father just passed away on Wednesday. I'll tell you a quick story before I get out of here. I had a brother that died of AIDS in 1996, January 19, 1996. My father always said the 19th of the month, he said, watch and wait and see. Good things happen on the 19th. I didn't pay attention. Finally, I started kind of looking at the 19th, and you know, there would be something that would happen good. And so I started believing him. And so I thought that this week that he would pass on Tuesday, and that was the 18th. And sure enough, he went on the 19th. And I told my mother, I said, he couldn't even wait till his birthday, because his birthday was yesterday. And then today he's getting the award. So he picked the day that he was going to pass, and we were ready for it. We knew it was coming. My brother and I, my parents have lived with us for the last 25 years, so we knew it was coming. We had good time with them, and we are ready for it. And I want to say hi to Manny Cervantes, my grade school friend. All right, thanks.
Thanks, Junior. The Trejos, Emma. Thank you. Thank you so much. And well, our next recipient. Thank you. And how about Dallas? He's doing all the work. He's doing the video. He's doing the audio. He's doing the AV. And he picked me up and drove me over here. I love this guy, man. Thank you, Dallas. Yeah, well, and he's doing this will be all on YouTube, Dallas. We'll announce that before we leave, all on YouTube. That'll be up like soon, right away. Well, our next guest and our next recipient is right here. It's Manuel Cervantes. And, speaking of a family that had the to-do attitude and make it happen attitude, that was the Cervantes family. Much like all of us here, they were here on the West Side and struggling. A lot of people have these great memories of the West Side, and some of them are romanticized. But it was a tough life. There wasn't a lot to go around. There was, remember the large families we had? I mean, the Reyes family comes to mind. There was 13 brothers and 3 sisters. I mean, that's a lot of tortillas, man. Think about it. I mean, 13 brothers and 3 sisters, and they lived in a duplex. I mean, there was a lot of bunk beds there. I hung around with the Reyes family, and they all wore glasses. Kind of a funny deal. They broke about 3 pair a week, but great people. And then our family was a family of 12. So we had some big families. Back in the West Side days, if you had a family of 6, people thought you had a bad marriage. They don't get along that good, right? But Manny's, as we look at these photos, the Cervantes family, and Manny's a remarkable human being, really. His accomplishments, but we look back at, I look back in his career here, and I pointed back to a piece we got off the internet that was put out on March 22nd of 2013. March 22nd of 2013. Governor Mark Dayton announced the appointment of Judge Manuel J. Cervantes as judge on Minnesota's Workers' Compensation Court of Appeals. And here's a quote from Governor Dayton. In his life and career, Judge Cervantes has demonstrated a strong commitment to justice. His exemplary service to the state of Minnesota and his direct service to the people of his community have prepared him well for his new position. I am confident that Judge Cervantes will be an outstanding addition to the Workers' Compensation Board of Appeals. But before that, Manny served in a lot of other positions. He was appellate, of course, on the Workmen's Compensation, but he was also St. Paul City Attorney, imagine. Right here from the heart of the West Side. And he had a little spell on the East Side. It got a little disorganized and ended up on the East Side there. But they survived that even, can you imagine? But he was our St. Paul City Attorney. And he was an assistant attorney general for the Minnesota Attorney General's office. And he's a guy that has accomplished much. But I think if anybody knows Manny, and we know that the one thing about Manny is he's been just a wonderful guy and a volunteer. He loved volunteering. He coached youth soccer, a big mentor and a big supporter of Humboldt High School, and he served on so many committees that we couldn't name them all here, but through it all, Manny has been a guiding light for a lot of Latinos who went on to practice law. Manny Peter Reyes Jr. Isn't able to be here today. He's out of town, but he wanted to give you his wishes and thank you for you were one of his mentors, and thank you for what you've done for the community. So I think that we have some of his family here also, but there's always a time that in our history where, again, we were talking about Hispanic Heritage Month, and the fact that we have to want to make sure that I've got this thing here, man. I'm all disorganized here. And I get a little emotional at these things, folks, but you know, as Latinos, you know, we love to get emotional, don't we? I love it, man. Yeah. I do. Yeah. And I'm gonna have Manny come up here right now. Manny, come on up here, Manny. Yeah, I love getting emotional, and we should all enjoy honoring a friend and a real role model. So, ladies and gentlemen, Manuel Cervantes. In recognition of your commitment to your Latino heritage, culture, and community, and your illustrious law career as a dedicated public servant, to your leadership, to the many civic and social organizations you have served, also for your love of family, your friends, and your country. Therefore, with the appreciation of the Latino community in Minnesota, this commendation is presented to Manuel Cervantes.
Being a lawyer, I do have a few words to say. First of all, I want to thank Rick and the Heritage Preservation Committee for this honor you're giving me today. I am honored to be together with the Guadalupanas, with Junior Trejo on the same stage and with this set of awards. And I'm very grateful for this consideration. I take this opportunity to thank Father Brinkman and the Guadalupanas, who are also receiving an award today, and the Guadalupe Parish for their thoughts and prayers. A year ago, in January of 17, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. My good friend Donnie Luna brought this to the attention of the parish, and every week since then, they have had me and my situation in their prayers and thoughts. You know, it's been a year, and I attribute this to the fact that their faith and their prayers and their thoughts. My family has long ties to the West Side and to Our Lady of Guadalupe Church. Following the death of my father, Elidio, and his first wife, he returned to Mexico and went to his home village and met my mother. He brought her back to Minnesota after they courted for a year, and then they came to Albert Lee. They returned to Albert Lee where he had a home. I was born there, and the following year my sister Raquel was born in Blue Earth. And the additional kids were born, the other 5 children were born here in St. Paul. Father Ward was the priest at the time and baptized my remaining brothers and sisters here. All 7 of us attended Lafayette School, and Junior and some of the other folks that of that era were there as well. I remember in the 4th grade, I made my first communion, and my padrino, Frank Cruz, is here too, and he and I were chit-chatting about that. I thought he had baptized me in Albert Lee, but he said, no, it was your first communion here at Guadalupe, at the old church on the west side. And so I, for the longest time, I thought it was because of his association with Albert Lee, but it was here in St. Paul. But anyway, while standing in the basement stairwell on that day, before the communion mass, Father Ward stopped on the steps and asked me if I wanted to become an altar boy. And I was surprised. I looked up at my mother quizzically, and she said to me, "Tú nomás le dices que sí," which translated means, you just say yes. And so the next week I ended up being an altar boy with Father Ward, doing the 7 o'clock mass before we started school at 8 o'clock. So then, Junior referred to his first year at Guadalupe School. My calculation was 1961. I was in 5th grade. Raquel was in 4th, and Mona was in 3rd. And we went to school with a lot of brothers, the Martinezes, Russell and Bobby. I think John Garcia was there. Those are a couple of the names that I remember going to school with. And my mom was so proud of that fact that the 3 of us kids were able to go to Guadalupe in the first year. And she was proud of the fact that she could contribute her pesetas every Sunday, the limosna, so that she could get the church built and the school opened. That same year in 1961, our father passed away, and I was a cross bearer at his funeral. It was also the same year that it was the urban renewal hit the west side, and a lot of the the west side families scattered all over the city of St. Paul. We ended up on the east side over at Mounts Park. Once we moved over there, my mother's heart was broken because she was so far away from Our Lady of Guadalupe. And so she was kind of depressed, if you would. Fortunately, one of our new neighbors on the east side, near Mounts Park, asked her to join Sacred Heart, which was a school over on the east side. And she gladly accepted, and things turned around. Notwithstanding our humble beginnings, I believe we've been truly blessed throughout our lives. Many of you old-timers may recall Lyndon Johnson was president in the 1960s. Unlike our current president, President Johnson sought to change the social and racial injustice in the country with legislation including the Civil Rights Act and the Voters Registration, and the Civil Rights Act, excuse me. He also declared a war on poverty. As part of that effort, he invested millions of dollars in colleges and universities across the country for first-generation college students. I am proud to relate that all 6 of my siblings and I were able to take advantage of these opportunities. And all 7 of us graduated from McAllister College. Some of my family is here with me today, sitting over here. I'd like you to stand up and be recognized. In addition, the majority of us went on to obtain advanced degrees in law, social work, business administration, and education. I am grateful for our Mother's Strong Foundation in her Catholic Church and faith, and her perseverance in the face of adversity, for the education and opportunities this great state and nation has given us. And I'm thankful to my family and the Guadalupe Prayers for their thoughts and prayers, and the Latino Heritage Committee for this award. I thank you, Rick, and I thank you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Manny. There's a lot of school loans, man. So, I think you guys had a fundraiser for those school loans. Yeah, I threw a couple in there. Well, I graduated from the School of Hard Knocks. I never got to college. I used to walk by the college. But Manny, you're indeed a role model to us. And I love that photo of you with the motorcycle gang. That's Al Paulson and his motorcycle club. They went and saw that Marlon Brando movie, and then they got their bikes right away. Well, listen, hey, this is a wonderful day, isn't it? And the next honoree is someone we've all enjoyed watching and enjoying her wonderful art form that she's been so thoughtful and so giving and working so hard to keep this alive. At a very young age, Rebecca Moran Cusick began to understand the importance of keeping cultural traditions alive, to remind us of our cultural identity, and to preserve our sense of community. Rebecca's grandparents, Crescencina and Francisco Rangel, they were one of the first Mexican migrant families to settle in Minnesota. They brought with them the wonderful appreciation of talent, of song and dance. Rebecca's mother continued the tradition for many years by teaching traditional Mexican dance to her 7 children, extended family, and friends. At age 4, Rebecca was performing for parish celebrations, weddings, quinceañeras, and other cultural events. Soon thereafter, she joined the Ballet Folklorico Guadalupano, a group that was founded and directed by her aunt, Maria Moran. We all remember the lovely Maria Moran. And that was formed in the West Side Flats neighborhood. Becky's strong desire to expand her knowledge of Mexican folk dance continued to grow and resulted in an extended stay in Mexico City, where she attended La Academia de Danza Mexicana del Instituto Nacional de Bellas Artes. I thought I just ordered some food with that. That was remarkable. Under the direction of renowned folklore dancer and instructor Amalia Hernandez. Imagine our Becky study with Amalia Hernandez. Rebecca continued her studies at Instituto Mizac and formed a close working relationship with her mentor, Maestro Tizac Puentes Yaco. Upon her return from Mexico, Rebecca founded Los Alegres Bailadores in 1997. Today, Los Alegres Bailadores are one of the most established folkloric dance groups in the state of Minnesota, with students ranging in ages from 3 years old to adults and current enrollment of over 100 students. Rebecca travels to Mexico regularly to study and archive folkloric dance that can be introduced to her students in Minnesota. This group's costumes, their music, and rich repertoire of dance are a direct result of Rebecca's passion to keep this beautiful art alive for generations to come. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, one of the wonderful women in our community, Rebecca Moran Cusick. I did a tryout with her. She said, well, come back in a couple of years, Ricky. But Well, thank you. And here's what it says here, Becky. In recognition of your commitment to your Latino heritage, culture, and community, and to your dedication, leadership, and vision to starting and organizing Los Alegres Bailadores in 1997, to your training and mentorship to Latino youth and adults to help preserve and promote this important and beautiful Latino art form. Also to using your talented dancers in the efforts to address social issues and bridge cultural gaps. Therefore, with the appreciation of the Latino community in Minnesota, this commendation is presented to Rebecca Moran Kusick.
Thank you so much. I am honored, and thank you, Rich, for always doing what have been doing for so long, and acknowledging all of the important artists and educators. So many people, as you see today, that are being honored. And I'd like to thank all of the community for believing in me. Okay, just a minute. For my parish, that have supported me. For believing in me, for my parents that have instilled in me the love and the passion for Mexican folklore dance. And because of them, this is why I am here today doing what I do. To start young, to be introduced, and just to fall in love. There's just some things there's a calling for. Everyone has a calling. This was my calling. And so I was able to touch so many young people, and still today continue to touch so many young people, dancers that have stayed with me all of these years. My teachers and my parents that I can't thank enough for their time that they have told their children, this is important. It's important to keep your tradition. It's only one part, but it's an important part. And so I'm proud that I have done that, and I continue to do that, but it's never been done by myself. It takes the community, it takes the parents, it takes the dancers, my parish, people like Rich that always working and acknowledging. And that's why I am here. And I would like to have my mother, Juanita, because she started when I was a young girl, have me dance in all of these little programs that were happening, and then my Auntie Mary, that I danced in her group and fell in love, and then when I went to Mexico, that was the bottom line. That did it. That tipped me. It was in me to continue to do this, and wasn't always easy, but with all the help of all of the people that have come to me, that have been with me. I would like Juanita and my daughter Jacqueline and Julia and Sunny to come up here, because you will see 4 generations. My mother, my daughter, myself, and my granddaughter. And hopefully the tradition will continue because of family, because of the love, and because of the passion. This is Juanita, for those of you who don't know, my mother. And then, of course, me, and then my daughter and my granddaughter. So you see 4 generations here today. But last but not least, I would like to thank my dedicated dancers that are all standing in the back there. My teachers that have been teaching with me for many years, Wendy, Alicia, Jasmine, and all of my wonderful dancers that have been with me through so many years, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Because of you, you have made this possible. Thank you so much, everyone.
Wow. Well, this is indeed a wonderful day. And, we want to keep moving with our other honorees, but thank you, Becky. And we're going to see your wonderful dance group present right after the awards are done, so don't be leaving. And then they'll be followed by Kiko Rangel, who I mentioned has a new agent now, so pretty demanding, but Kiko will be here. We finally cut his contract early this morning. So Kiko, is Kiko here yet? Okay. Well, our next awardee, as you can see, is John Flores. Now, I think many of you know the Flores family, and John and the wonderful Mexican-American veterans. And you know, the story of Mexican American veterans, I think most of it we know the story, because when Pedro and Lugarda Aguilar, my mom and dad, came here from Michoacan, they were part of the migrant stream, and they would end up in St. Peter, Minnesota, and then they go back to Mexico. But one of the farmers befriended my dad and asked if he wanted to come back and live in Minnesota and work at his farm. And that happened to a lot of Latino families, it really did. And he did that. He went and got my brothers and sisters, there was 5 living in Mexico, and brought them back, and it wasn't easy. You know, there was no freeways back in the day, man. It was a harrowing trip back, but they got to St. Peter, Minnesota, and soon after World War II broke out. World War II. And like many undocumented, because they were undocumented, they were not here, I'm not going to use the word illegal, but they were undocumented. My brothers, Rudy and Art, young, 17, non-English speaking, volunteered to fight for this country. And history doesn't show it, but hundreds and thousands of Latinos, undocumented, went and fought with this country. And they were, many times, the most decorated. And if ever a country owed something to a community, I think that was well-deserving for all those Latinos, and some are still around. My brother Rudy, who's 94, is still living, fought and ended up in the Battle of the Bulge, was wounded there. But the West Side has a great legacy of serving their country. And our community has answered the call. And so when we see John Flores, John had a military career, in reality, 24 years in the armed forces. Started with Vietnam, but it never ended there, because John had a leadership quality about him. He came back and he wanted to continue serving, and I think that's what's remarkable about John, because with that attitude, he was able to rise in the ranks. Of course, he's been a member of Post 5 AMVETS veterans. You know, we're proud of that group. How about a hand for the Post 5 AMVETS? Yeah, of course, and some of the members are here, you know, they represented the veterans, and then, you know, John moved up in the ranks. Now he's a member of the Minnesota Department of AMVETS. He's going to explain that to us as he comes up, but John Flores, you know, we're proud of John Flores and all our veterans, we really are. And so, you know, I'm really happy to have the opportunity to have John and honor John today. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, John Flores. John, in recognition of your commitment to your Latino heritage, culture, and community, and your dedication to serving your country in the U.S. Army and as a member and leader in military organizations, to your participation in many civic and social associations, and also for your love of family, friends, and your country. Therefore, with the appreciation of the Latino community in Minnesota, this commendation is presented to John Flores.
Thank you, everyone. And Rick, I hope you can hear me. I would accept this award on behalf of all these great veterans that you see mixed and mingled among them. We have veterans from World War II to Korea, Vietnam, and our desert wars present. And their Air Force and Navy and Army and our Marines. And we are grateful and blessed in this community to have such great and brave people who step forward. They often go unnoticed, but they're always in the community, especially in our church, helping and doing and making things better for the future. They're great examples of ladies and gentlemen, some sitting right here in front of me. I always have to remember we have a female Marine. I like to tell people that I'm the commander of the post, but I know I do what she tells me to do. I know my place. And Rosemary is a great Marine, a great veteran. We have in the back of the room, we have the Salsa King, Frank Cruz, always taking care of business for us. And we've got our great Vietnam veterans and Donnie sitting in there, hiding, So we really have a collection of people that go unnoticed, but they're in your church, they're in your neighborhood, and those are your veterans. And I always like to tell people that my heroes wear dog tags. Every one of these folks has worn dog tags in service to the country and service to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much, buddy. Speaking of Frank Cruz, I called Frank up and mentioned that he was going to be getting this award, and he said it in a Frank Cruz style, "What, are you running out of people?" You must be running out of people, Rick. No, we're not running out of people. We're noticing people, Frank. And by the way, Frank was, here's this lovely, I think a grandchild, right, Frank? And here's Frank volunteering at church here with his gang, the men's club. How about a hand for the men's club? Of Guadalupe, yeah, beautiful group. There's the guys, and then he served as a Grand Marshal this year. Frank Cruz did as the for the Cinco de Mayo. So indeed, it's been a good year. But Frank's the guy that deserves that. They were one of the first West Side families, rather. Back in the 30s, they arrived here, the Cruz family, and I think one of the special attributes about Frank is that. He's always been vocal about issues regarding the West Side. Frank's not one of the guys that'll sit on the couch and just wonder about it. He'll call, he'll make his calls. He's been reaching out to public officials on many occasions concerning issues here on the West Side, and even as we look at the community that was dispersed down the flats as it grew up here, Frank has stayed active in his community, and it's really somewhere down the line that the Cruz brothers, of course, they worked hard. They've had some great successes. I think Brother Joe and the rest of your brothers, Frank, they've had some great business successes. And I think that speaks a lot to our West Side community as we looked and celebrated all the people here today, that, you know, we weren't just content on being on the west side. We wanted to reach out and we wanted to grow and we wanted to contribute. And so with that, I'd like to welcome up our next recipient, Frank Cruz, ladies and gentlemen. Frank Cruz. Yeah. Frank wondered if I was going to have a card for him. I said, well, no, this isn't the parade. We're not going to have a parade, Frank, but here's your, in recognition of your commitment to your Latino heritage, culture, and community, and to serving in the armed forces and your participation in our local Mexican-American Veterans Organization. Also for your volunteer work in the community and your voice in local community issues that concern the community. For your love of family, friends, and your country. Therefore, with the appreciation of the Latino community in Minnesota, this commendation is presented to Frank Cruz.
Am I the last one?
No.
Good. I hate to be the bottom of the barrel. I want to thank you all for being here. It's an honor. But I really like to say that I love this West Side. And I love the women that are right there, that group right there, that are the backbones of the West Side right now. And I really don't have much to say other than God bless all of you all. And
We got more to say. No, we're not.
come on, Marine. I'll tell you what. I want to get out of the West Side. But every time I got on Robert Street, a car would go by and say, hey, go back to the West Side or go back to Mexico. So I stayed on the West Side. That is the truth. That is the truth. Other people will tell you that are about my age that the West Side was the best place you could ever be. You could walk around and nobody would bother you at any time of the night, any time of the day. There was always somebody that you could count on for some backup. And I mean backup. Thank you all.
Well, thanks, Frank. Yeah, another word? We'll get you another one, Frank. You'll be around. Hey, listen. You know, as we're coming to the end of our honor and our awards presentation, I want to make sure that everyone who's here, who's gotten to, we want to get one group photo too before. I think we're all going to stick around, right? But we want to get a group photo too before that. You know, our next recipient of the award is a young man who was in the security police and the U.S. Air Force. Started his career, he became a deputy sheriff in Jefferson County in Golden, Colorado. So this isn't a Minnesota-born recipient, but through lucky enough, he landed here in St. Paul. And I'm speaking of a senior commander, John Lozoya, who's going to be our next participant. And I say that because, you know, in times right now that we're going through, I haven't the faintest idea where we get off without appreciation of law and order and of these wonderful men and women who volunteer to serve and take it as a career. Yeah. And we have a wonderful group here. They have a National Latino Peace Officers Association that's been around here for, I believe, over 10 years. And they're a wonderful group of Latinos who are dedicated to serving and keeping our city safe and sound. And you know, we really appreciate, here's some of the photos of John. And here was at one of our La Familia events doing our fingerprinting. And We urge anyone who has young children here to get that done. It's a great security effort on behalf of the police. And here, you know, John has been a Latino peace officer that is part now of the leadership. And that's wonderful to see that we have Latinos that are part of the police force and their organizations and their leadership, because, you know, our community as we've known it has become almost 60% diverse here in St. Paul. You know, we've seen a large growth of Latinos, of Asians, and Africans and other groups, and, you know, somehow they didn't see themselves as part of the service, as part of the police world, in the sense that they didn't see themselves there. Now we have Latino police officers and Asians and everyone, but John has been very responsible in making sure that we're able to hire these people and they're giving an opportunity to serve. So without further ado, our La Familia 2018 Latino Heritage Award goes to John Lozoya. John. In recognition of your commitment to your Latino heritage, culture, and community, and to your law enforcement work of keeping the peace and making our city safe for all communities, to your efforts in promoting and assuring that career opportunities are available to members of the Latino community, and also for your love of family, friends, and your country. Therefore, with the appreciation of the Latino community in Minnesota, this commendation is presented to John Lozoya, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Rick. This was really unexpected when Rick first approached me to be recognized for the work that all Latino officers that are doing in the community. When Rick talks about the stream of Morelia, Michoacan to the migrant workers, I'm a product of that. I was a migrant worker until I was about 16 years old. My mom is from Morelia, Michoacan. And thank you, Morelia. Law enforcement to me at the beginning wasn't a career I wanted to follow. I remember when I was in the migrant camps, I was about 12 years old or so, and the sheriff came in and said, hey, you tell your people that between 5 and 7, then go shopping. After that, I don't want to see them in town. Okay? So I'm 12 years old, and I'm the only speak English, so I tell my folks, and they get upset. I couldn't understand why. But as I went through growing up, I could understand why. And it wasn't until I was in high school where I was influenced by another police officer. I could understand that I could be a change within the community and to assist our Latino population. So when I moved out here in 1994, I became a St. Paul police officer. Myself, and I don't know if you remember retired Deputy Chief Martinez, Bill Martinez. We noticed that we were losing a lot of our candidates, Latino kids, that wanted to be police officers in St. Paul and Ramsey County and some of the larger agencies, that we were losing a lot of them. We looked into why we were losing a lot of them. And a lot of it was because our kids weren't getting the share fare. They weren't given the opportunity to compete for those jobs. And as we know, sometimes us Latinos, when we're surviving, we're trying to help our families, that sometimes we have some miscues in our history. So we were losing a lot of them in the background. I said, wait a minute, why are we keep punishing our kids for a mistake they did many years ago? They've never done it again, and why do we keep punishing them? So in order to combat that and help our Latino kids for better careers, we created the Law Enforcement Latino Peace Officer Association Minnesota chapter.
Yeah.
Because we know that if we stand together, we are a force to be reckoned with, a community. We're a huge force. So through the creation of the association, to partners from the West Side, Donnie Luna, Gilbert de la O, we started to force the agencies to take a better look at our kids. And thank God, you know, when I started, there was probably less than 20. We're probably in St. Paul, we're heading to 60 officers of Latino descent. The association that started with about 20, 25 Latinos officers is up to about 140 members. And we have at least 50 students that are ready to come into law enforcement and going to school right now for law enforcement. And some of the students are over there. Stand up, man. Stand up. So as we move forward, they understand there's two ways to change an organization or a whole career field. It's either you do it through peaceful demonstrations or you change it from within. We chose to change it from within for the better of our community. Thank you. One other thing I felt in 2019, the National Latino Peace Officers Association will be hosting their first national conference here in Minnesota for the first time in their history. The organization, the National Latino Peace Officers Association, started in California in 1972 by two officers that saw the same things happening in California. So they're coming out here to support us and our community that we are a force to be reckoned with. Thank you.
Well, thank you, John. John Flores has to go. He's got another gig, but John, God bless you. Well, listen, John, thank you. I've got a couple parking tickets I'm going to talk to you about. Yeah. Oh, I got to pay them? Okay. Hey, last but not least, look, we're going to honor the great organization, the Guadalupanas. There's some photos here. The Guadalupanas, Here, of course, are some of the soon-to-be Guadalupanas, a youth group there. We stopped it and took a still shot. How about Senora Lopez and Kiko Rangel's mother, and Senora Rangel, making tortillas. Here's the gang working on one of the festivals, I believe, making some tacos. They're delicious tacos. There they are, man. They taste the same forever. Yeah. And of course, here they're working on the enchilada dinner. Who hasn't been to the enchilada dinner? Come on, right? We're all here. And here's one of their posters, and you know they do there's a tremendous event that takes place right here in the hall. It takes place, and here's the product, man. Listen, wow, right? That's the baby. You know, Guadalupanas, and they have fun too. You know, ask Debbie, they have fun. They got Debbie Luna, sure. So, you know, this is a great organization. Let me tell you a little bit about the Guadalupanas. They're a religious association organized by Mexican-American Catholic women to provide leadership and social concerns and perform works of charity. The organization's name derives from the Nuestra Senora de Guadalupe, patroness of the Americas. The Guadalupano Society have helped foster female development and leadership in the Catholic Church. Women may establish societies in a parish by gaining the approval of the pastor, and they also recruit members on an informal basis. However, the individuals may also join by approaching the group to ask permission. Still others become members due to a familial devotion to Nuestra Senora de Guadalupe, including a tradition of familial involvement in the society that has been passed from one generation of another. But we can all remember the Guadalupanas, those who are old enough to remember our first parish on Fairfield Street. And my mother served there, and you know, to get to the kitchen, there were some stairs there that were plenty dangerous. I mean, these were very steep. Heaven forbid you'd want to fall down those stairs, man. But there was our wonderful women making tamales and tortillas, and you know, I remember many days I would see my mom down there with Senora Rangel and the Cruz family, Vera Coronado, you know, from the Coronado family, and many others. And you know, we love our Guadalupanas. I think they really are an iconic tradition here for our women. And we're so blessed to have had this group and to have them serve and still serve to this day. In the wonderful way they do. It's always consistent. They're always here. And consistency is something we need now in these days of a tradition that is always here to make sure that we see our women and we see them as leaders. Because in the real world, I'll close with this, you know, Latino women are the leaders. They have led our families for years, and they are a force to be reckoned with. Their wonderful traditions and the way they keep our families intact is amazing. So without further ado, we're going to ask the Guadalupanas to come up for the award. Come on up, ladies. Guadalupanas, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Yes. Come on up, folks. Yeah. The Guadalupanas, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Why don't you come around here? I'll just get out of here a little bit and then okay, yeah, so we get it. Sorry, I'm sorry. So we get everybody in the photo here. Yeah, we got everybody? Dallas? Yeah, maybe move it a little bit. Or me? Or, yeah. Well, I'm going to read the recognition of your commitment to your Latino heritage, culture, and community, and to being united together in works of charity and religious activities, to your countless hours of active involvement in church functions, celebrations, and to help where it is most needed. And also for your dedication to the Virgen de Guadalupe, her virtues and love of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and your love of family, friends, and your country. Therefore, with the appreciation of the Latino community in Minnesota, this commendation is presented to our own Guadalupanas. Ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Alicia Machaca. I'm the current Guadalupana president. I just want to say welcome to Our Lady of Guadalupe Church. The Guadalupanas was established 86 years ago. And I just want to say thank you to all these wonderful ladies for keeping the tradition up. There's a lot more. There's about 125 Guadalupanas. But I do want to give the mic over to Juanita Moran. She was inducted by the very first president of the Guadalupanas. Thank you.
This is the first time. I was about 13 or 14 years old when my mother invited me to go and accompany her to a meeting. What do I want to go to a meeting? You come with me, don't say anything. So there I go. When we got to the meeting, they prayed and I joined the ladies that were there. And soon when they announced that I was going to be a member, I'm going to be a member. I'm only 13 years old, Mother. You are going to be a member. So I got inducted, 13 to 14. Soon after that, they needed someone to write the minutes. So guess who got the job? I got the job. That was my job. It wasn't my choosing at that time. I says, what for do I want to go to the fidelity or that club. That's for ladies that are older than I am. I'm too young. But orders from my mother, and I appreciated that she did. I joined like a good child, you know. So I'm very proud to be a member. We have helped the church a lot and helped members, and we're, all us ladies here are ready to help whoever needs help with any subject that they need help with. And of course, cooking. That is all I have to say. Thank you very much. We enjoyed to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you, Juanita. Is there anyone else? Debbie?
Go buy some more food.
Well, speaking of that, we, on behalf of our sponsors here today and all of our exhibitors, we have a small donation to the Guadalupanas. And thank you for your wonderful work, and we're looking forward to so many more and all your great food. Thank you. Thank you, the Guadalupanas, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Well, that's the end of the awards show. But now the best to come. We're going to have some entertainment, and so we might have to clear that a little bit, Dallas, and everything. But you know what? If I could get the award winners here with their awards, with their certificates, could we come up, Louis and everyone else that has an award that's still here, and bring it up? We're going to get a group photo. John Lazoya, could you come up with your certificate? We'll try to get a group photo here. Who else is still here? Henry? Hi, Henry. Eric? Come on up, or Henry. Did you have the drawing yet, Ike? It's coming, okay. I'm still in it then, or? Okay, thank you. All right. Yeah. And then John's here. Is our other award winners here? Sure. The Guadalupanas are here? Sure. Let's get a group photo here, Dallas. Maybe we'll get right on here, guys. Let's get it right over here, guys. Right by this banner. That banner? Yeah. That's you guys read that one, so we can all see all you guys. And then Rebecca, yeah. Have you got them squeezed in? Okay. You gonna get in or not? Yeah. Do you have yours? Can you get us in there? Dallas, you have everybody? Closer to Ray. Closer to Ray. Yeah.
I didn't get an award.
Get in, just right here. Oh, Manny, yeah, come on, Manny.
Hey, Manny.
Have you got everybody Dallas? You want us to move in?
Where's your brother? Hey, no,
Oh, great, man.
Did you guys get me?
You got everybody?
Can we get your list? Wait, let me change this.